Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hello, my name is Janet. I am a stay-at-home mom to 2 boys. This will be our first year homeschooling. My oldest is starting kindergarten and my little one is only 2. And if you are back for more, thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on here and watch me just talk and talk and talk. Thank you for adding value to what I have to say by watching and coming back. So again, thank you so much to those of you who are coming back, again, for your continued support. Alrighty, so today's video is all about this little guy right here. It's not that little. Teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. If you have been around for a while, you guys have seen this laying around in my videos for the last couple of years because I purchased this book back when David was 3 years old. So it's been around for a little while. When he was 3 years old, we gave it a try. We stopped maybe on lesson 25-ish because the lessons were getting a little too long. And so no pressure, we stopped using it. And then we picked it up again in the beginning of the year. So today's video is all about the book and what it looks like inside and what I think about the book and how we've been using it. Teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. The lessons should take no more than 20 minutes. Right on their cover it says 20 minutes a day. Ideally, you would do 1 lesson a day. So the first part of the book, you're going to find this sort of parent guide. It will talk about the complex skill of reading and how hard it is to learn the English, to read English, and it talks about the reading program and the research that's behind it. It talks about what method they've used in public schools for a really long time, and then it also goes on explaining the alphabet that they use, why the print looks a little funky. You have some short letters, you have some longer, some big letters, you have some lines and some squiggly ones, and they look different from your regular letters. And this is because they have given each one a specific sound. So each specific sound looks different. It's not the short A and the long A. They look different, and the child will know which one it is just by looking at it. So at first it looks a little funky, a little weird, and the print does start off pretty large, and then it starts getting smaller. But anyway, so it just gives you a lot of detail of how to correct and how to praise the child when they're doing good. It also gives you the chart of the sound chart, so you can know these sounds before you introduce it to your child, because you want to say it correctly before you tell your child this is how you say this sound and you are saying it wrong. So make sure that you are familiar with at least they suggest the first 10 sounds just so you're familiar with them. But yeah, I go through it, back to it all the time. And then it also shows you like a little diagram of what it looks like and how you use it, just so you know the stuff before you present it to your child. You don't want this, like the time that you are going to sit down with your child and talk about it, you don't want that to be the first time you open this book. You want to look through it. They also suggest no skipping. Whether you think your child already knows how to do this, there's going to be things that are going to be introduced in each lesson that you're going to need in other lessons. So you don't want to skip through any lessons or go on if your child hasn't mastered that one lesson. It also has sound writing charts, so you can practice that, writing the different sounds. We didn't do that, but it's up to you. Like it suggests in the introduction, do not skip, do not move forward if your child didn't like do a good job. Hold them to a certain, standard, and you have to be able to read it before you move on to the next lesson. So a few of these we've had to do again. You don't want to move on and make it harder, and then if they haven't mastered this sound, or you don't want to introduce more and more to your child if he doesn't yet fully know how to do what is in front of him. So each lesson is broken up into different tasks. So if a new sound is going to be introduced, it will be the first task of the lesson. Everything in red is what you should be telling your child. Everything in black is what you should be doing. So it tells you exactly what to do and what to say, and even how to correct it. So if your child is saying a wrong sound or not responding, then it tells you what to say. The sound and then repeat again, step 2. So then it also gives you the diagram of the sound, and then it goes into so much detail of blending and rhyming. And like I said, it's broken up into different tasks. And in the beginning, every lesson has an introduction to the sound. It has sound writing. It has say the sounds, say it fast. So you're really getting your child in the habit of starting the next sound as soon as you're done with the last sound, instead of breaking it up like s, ah, you're blending, saying it all in one. So it goes into that, also rhyming, sound writing, like I said, and then the rhyming, you're not actually reading every single word. Some of the rhyming, it'll tell you, okay, we're gonna rhyme with am, and it starts with and then the child has to come up with the word that makes that sound. So it's that starting sound and rhyming with am. So in this case, at. So we're rhyming with at, and it starts with with So then the child has to say rat and mat, sat. So word families are also introduced here. Sight words are introduced in here. They add larger squares, like blocks, so they can tell that that's a space between the words, and then also follow the line to go on to the next sentence or the next row. The little letters, those are the silent letters, like you saw in the last page. Sick, you see the K as silent, so there's no dot on the bottom, so the child is not going to say that sound. So it is really repetitive with, again, the rhyming, the sounds, and then it also goes into picture comprehension and reading comprehension. So usually we cover up the picture so we can read the story, because it also asks what will you see in the picture. So I want him to be able to predict what's going to be in the picture without seeing it first. So before turning the page, I do cover the picture so he can go ahead and read the story, and then we move on to the picture comprehension. And then in the later lessons, it also starts asking questions throughout the story. So after your child is done reading a sentence, you ask a question about it, about what he just read, just to follow with what he's reading and see if he's understanding what he's reading. And yeah, so they also introduce children to sight words here. New sight words and new sounds are introduced lessons prior to actually using it in a sentence or using it in the story. And then, as you can tell, as you go further in the lessons, the blocks start disappearing, the dots start going away, and then all the way at the end, it looks like regular old boring print. So although that it is standalone, you don't need anything else with it, we have been using the Bob books with it. The sounds that are introduced in this book, they are in the same order that the sounds are introduced in the Bob books. And this is the Bob book set 1, beginning readers. So this is a set of 12 books, I believe. No. Yeah, 12 books, and in the beginning of every book, it tells you what sounds are going to be introduced in the book, just like in the other book. So the first like 7 or 8 lessons in the Teaching Reading 100 Lessons book, you are introduced to M, A, T, C, S. So those are all like the first 3 or 4 books of the set for Bob books. And then they also have the question marks and also numbers. So we are getting ready to not quite move on to the second set, but I would like to have the second set handy for after we're done with this one. I know which books he can read based off on what sounds he has already learned on here. So that's why I like these two paired together. Like I said, they are introduced to in the same order for the most part. The only sound that's not introduced in this set is the letter Q. So along with the Bob books, before we started our little lesson here, our book, I made this chart right here, and it's just 1 through 100, and every day that he finishes a lesson, he gets a sticker for that lesson that he completed. So this has been amazing. Not only is it a tracker so you don't lose what lesson you left on, but also just the numbers. David loves, before we start reading, he likes to count how many lessons he has left. So he's counting, he's doing some math before we even start reading. And also number recognition. So what lesson are we on? 70. Okay, can you turn to lesson 70? And he can go ahead and look for it. So number recognition, and then the sequence and all of that. And he loves the satisfaction of just getting a sticker when he's done. So after you're done with 100 lessons, what now? Don't worry, this book's got you covered. It gives you a kind of a starting point to continue your child's journey to reading. So at the end of it, he should be reading at 2nd grade level. Should, if you've done it correctly and followed all their instructions. So like I said, 2nd grade level. And it gives you a list of things that you can do, different words that you can introduce your child to, and then also a list of books to read next. And along with those books, it tells you what words to introduce to your child before even reading the book. So you want to have your child, be confident that he's seen these words. You don't want to catch him off guard. So it gives you a set of steps to introduce a new book to your child. So you're going to read the book to your child, you're going to teach him the words, you're going to tell your child that he has to read the book to you before he can have it, and then review at the end. So it's got you all covered. So we have really enjoyed using this combo of the Bob books and the 100 easy lessons. I hope that you find this video helpful. I had promised it to you guys a while back, and then I just never got around to it. Everything will be linked down below for you. If you are still here and still haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe before heading out. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on the next one.